The Abbey stands silent again. But beneath the still air and polished halls, something stirs. A whisper of the past. A secret long kept. The walls remember everything, every tear, every toast, every promise broken under candlelight. The world beyond may have changed, but here, time itself seems to hold its breath. The first light of dawn creeps across the hills, painting the fields in pale gold. The fog curls along the ground like a ghost, wrapping the stone walls of Downton in a soft shroud. The grand iron gates, once closed for good, grown open with the sound of forgotten years. For the first time in a long while, footsteps echo once more on the gravel path leading to the great house. Downton Abbey, proud, elegant, and unchanged, rises against the morning sky like a memory refusing to fade. The windows glimmer faintly in the weak sun, as if blinking awake after a long sleep. Inside, dust dances through quiet corridors, catching the light that spills through stained glass. The great staircase stands tall and untouched, a reminder of the generations who walked its steps, some with triumph, some in sorrow. There's no music, no chatter, no clinking of glasses, only silence. But it's the kind of silence that feels alive, as if the Abbey itself is holding on to stories it can no longer contain in the drawing room. A once grand clock ticks faintly, slow and steady. The sound fills the emptiness like a heartbeat. The portraits on the walls seem to watch, patient and knowing, their painted eyes guarding memories of love, war, and loss. Outside, the wind carries faint echoes, laughter, a child's voice, the faint strains of a piano that no one has played for years. A servant's bell rings softly somewhere in the distance, though there's no hand to pull the cord, and then a single car rolls into the courtyard, sleek, modern, and out of place. The engine cuts off, leaving only the whisper of the wind. A door opens, and polished shoes step onto the stones. The sound breaks the spell of silence. The Abbey seems to listen. The wind shifts. The air feels different now, heavier, aware. The camera lingers on the open door of the car. The figure stepping out unseen, the sun rising behind them, flooding the grand facade of Downton with light. A voice calm, aged and steady, breaks the silence. It's been far too long. But some places never truly let you go. As the voice fades, the shot pans up to the Abbey's highest tower, where a single window catches the morning light. A bird takes flight from its edge, soaring into the golden sky. The music begins, a slow, orchestral swell, both hopeful and haunting. The screen fades to black. On-screen text, Downton Abbey 3. 2025, the Abbey has awakened. Yet its beauty feels colder now, like a memory too perfect to belong to the present. Inside its walls, the air carries the faint perfume of old roses and forgotten letters. The furniture stands untouched, every chair, every table waiting for voices that will never return. The camera glides down the main hallway. The portraits of ancestors line the walls, their painted smiles frozen in time. For a moment, it feels as if their eyes follow every movement, curious, cautious, knowing. A gust of wind stirs the curtains, and for a second, it's almost as if someone just walked past. A piano key presses softly on its own. One note, delicate, trembling. It echoes through the hall like the voice of the past, calling out to be heard, voiceover low, reflective. Every house remembers the laughter, but Downton, it remembers everything. We move to the servants' quarters, silent, but not empty. A single candle burns, though no hand has lit it. The light flickers across an old ledger, names written in perfect ink, pages turned yellow with time. There's Thomas Barrow's signature, faint but proud. A name that once held weight, now reduced to dust and ink. The camera lingers on a teacup cracked, forgotten, left beside a chair. The faintest trace of lipstick on the rim. A ghostly detail, untouched by time. The music swells softly, violins rising with a sense of sorrow and longing. In the grand dining hall, the long table stands set for 12. Polished silver, crystal glasses, perfectly arranged plates, a meal that will never be served. The sound of clinking cutlery fills the air, faint and distant, like an echo from another life. Then silence again. The narrator continues, voice calm but filled with emotion. They built their world on elegance and order, but even perfection cannot hide the cracks beneath. Cut to a close-up. A letter lying open on the desk. Its ink smudged, the wax seal broken. A few words can be seen, the truth must not come to light. The clock chimes twice. The sound is sharp, echoing down the corridor. With each strike, the lights flicker, and shadows stretch across the room as if the house itself is remembering something it tried to forget. The shot shifts to the grand staircase, the same one where footsteps once marked the rhythm of life. Now, the faint sound of heels echoes faintly again, though no figure can be seen. The camera pans upward, revealing dust particles swirling in a shaft of light. The Abbey seems alive, breathing, mourning. Waiting, the music fades to a single cello note, deep, aching, unresolved, voiceover quiet, almost a whisper. In the silence of these halls, the past has found its voice once more. Screen fades to black. On-screen text, every secret finds its way home. The world outside Downton has changed faster, louder, and less forgiving. But the Abbey has always stood still, untouched by the rush of time. Until now, the rumble of an engine breaks the morning calm. A car, sleek and dark, cuts across the countryside road, its tires scattering pebbles against the stone bridge. The sound feels almost wrong here, like a stranger entering a sacred place. The camera follows as the car approaches the Abbey gates, now open wide, as if the house itself is waiting for what comes next. Inside, the light has changed. The golden tones of the old world fade into colder hues. The chandeliers flicker to life, electric now, not candlelit. The hum of power replaces the quiet crackle of fire. The Abbey breathes differently, sharper, more awake, less gentle, voiceover steady, reflective. Time does not ask permission to move forward. Even the grandest walls cannot hold it back. The car door opens, and a polished shoe steps out. A woman's hand follows, gloved, graceful, but firm. We do not see her face, only the reflection of the Abbey in her sunglasses. She looks up, and for a moment, the music softens, violins and piano in perfect harmony. Inside, the servants' quarters stir again. A bell rings this time. Real. A maid rushes through the corridor, her footsteps fast and nervous. The house feels alive, expectant, as if every room knows something important is about to happen. Cut to the grand dining hall. The table no longer empty. Fresh flowers bloom in silver vases, the dust gone, the light brighter. Someone has ordered it prepared again. Voiceover softer now. Every generation writes its own story, but some stories refuse to end. A brief montage follows, hands unfolding a letter, a suitcase set down on polished floors, portrait being dusted off, a candle being relit. Each shot connects past and present, the living touching the memories of those who came before. The music shifts, a quiet blend of old strings and new piano notes. It feels both nostalgic and uncertain, like hope struggling to find its place in a world that has moved on. The camera glides up the staircase again. This time, light floods through the tall windows. The same halls that once held silence now echo faintly with new voices, laughter, and the soft rustle of movement. And then, just before the section fades, a line from the narrator, steady and haunting, the new age has arrived at Downton's door. But not every soul inside is ready to open it. The clock ticks. A faint storm gathers outside. The Abbey stands tall, dignified, but trembling beneath the weight of change. The screen darkens slowly. On-screen text, a new dawn rises, but the shadows remain. Night has fallen over Downton. The moonlight spills across the stone walls, washing the gardens in silver. The Abbey stands quiet again, but it's a different kind of quiet. Not peace, but pressure. Something unseen lingers in the air, like the pause before a storm. In the dim corridor, a door creaks open. A shadow slips through, holding a candle. The flame flickers against the walls, revealing faces in old portraits, eyes that seem to follow every move. The camera trails behind the figure, moving through the hallway of memories. Past velvet curtains and marble busts, voiceover low, intimate. Whispers travel faster than truth within these walls. The candlelight catches a letter pinned to the notice board. The same phrase appears again. The truth must not come to light. A drop of wax falls on the paper, sealing the words in silence. Cut to the library. The air is heavy with dust and history. A glass of wine sits half-finished beside an open journal. The ink is fresh. The handwriting trembles. The words tell of debts unpaid, promises broken, the love that ended too soon. A clock ticks loudly, 1, 2, 3, before stopping altogether. The sound dies, but the tension grows. Voiceover gentle, pained, some wounds fade with time. Others wait for the right night to open again. A door slams. Footsteps echo. A portrait crashes to the floor. We see the back of a man standing alone in the hallway, his reflection fractured in a broken mirror. He looks at himself, older, burdened, hollow. The camera pans closer to the mirror, revealing his hand gripping a torn photograph. Two faces smile back a memory long gone. The man's voice, faint and trembling, barely escapes. I never meant for it to end this way. Thunder rolls outside. Rain strikes the stained glass windows, and the whole abbey seems to shudder. The candlelight flickers again, and for a brief second, a woman's silhouette appears in the reflection, standing behind him. But when he turns, she's gone. The narrator's voice returns, soft, sorrowful. The abbey remembers its ghosts, and tonight they remember each other. The storm builds. Curtains billow. A window bursts open. The wind howls through the grand hall, tearing through the silence. Papers scatter, candles extinguish, and the last echo is that of a faint whisper, a name, spoken like a prayer, then stillness. The screen fades to black, leaving only the sound of rain against glass. On-screen text, every secret has a heartbeat. But the light feels uncertain, pale, distant. Hesitant to touch the cold stone of the abbey, the rain has stopped. Yet the air still hums with what it left behind. The grounds are wet, the sky heavy, and the house itself seems to exhale after a sleepless night. The servants move quietly, avoiding eye contact, their whispers short and sharp. Silver trays rattle in nervous hands. The housekeeper's voice echoes faintly down the hall, calm but cracked by worry. Even the ticking of the clock seems faster, as if time itself is holding its breath. Voiceover steady, thoughtful, storms do not end when the rain stops. Sometimes they move inside us. In the grand salon, the new lady of the house stands by the window. Her reflection is caught between glass and shadow. She watches the horizon, where thunder still flickers in the distance. Her eyes carry the calm of someone who knows the weight of secrets but refuses to show it. Behind her, the butler enters, careful, silent, unreadable. He places a folded letter on the table. The seal bears the crest of the crown. For a moment, neither of them speaks. The sound of the wind fills the space between them. Cut to the upper floor. Servants pass quickly, carrying boxes, linens, trays. There's a rush of movement that feels more like escape than routine. Downstairs, a conversation breaks the hush, quiet, but sharp enough to draw attention. The tension feels human now, not haunting. Voiceover, low, controlled. Every family has its pride. Every legacy, its cracks. And when truth begins to tremble, walls are not enough to keep it in. Thunder rolls again, closer this time, louder, echoing through the halls. Windows shake. A vase tips over and shatters on the floor, porcelain scattering like broken promises. The music swells, slow strings. Rising under the sound of the storm, the camera follows the corridors again, once symbols of grace, now filled with shadows and hurried footsteps. A letter is torn. A door locks. A secret passes in a whisper from one servant to another, voiceover softer. Urgent. The winds of change have reached Downton, and not everyone will survive their touch. A sudden flash, the grand chandelier trembles as lightning strikes outside. For a heartbeat, the abbey glows white and ghostly, frozen in a moment between past and future. Then darkness, only the soft breath of the narrator remains. Before peace returns, the storm must choose its side. The screen fades to black as rain begins again, slower now, almost gentle. Falling like tears over the grand facade of Downton Abbey, on-screen text, the legacy trembles. This section brings intensity, emotion, and revelation. The Abbey, its people, and its past all collide. Truth finally begins to break through the polished surface. The tone is dramatic, intimate, and poetic, crafted for a faceless cinematic. Narration that grips the viewer's heart. Section 6. The breaking point approx. 2,500 characters, the storm has passed, but what remains is not calm, only quiet ruin. The Abbey sits under a gray sky, drenched but unbowed, its stones glistening like cold tears. The lawns are scarred with footprints, and the windows flicker with uneasy light. Inside, nothing feels the same. The camera moves through the main hall, furniture overturned, candles burned to the wick. The once perfect order now carries the scent of chaos. A single violin note plays slow, trembling, unresolved. Voiceover low, heavy. Every story reaches a moment where silence can no longer protect the truth. In the library, the man stands again before the mirror, the same one cracked from before. But this time, he does not look away. His reflection stares back, divided into shards, as if showing every version of himself: the dutiful son, the grieving brother. The keeper of lies. On the desk before him lies the torn photograph, now joined again with trembling hands. The woman's face smiles softly from the paper, her eyes full of light that the house seems to have lost. He whispers, "She deserved better than secrets." Cut to the dining hall. The new lady of the house sits at the far end of the long table. A letter open before her. Her expression is calm, but her eyes betray sorrow. Across from her, the butler waits, standing in silence. Between them lies the letter, the same seal of the crown, now broken dot, voiceover measured, grave. The truth has found its voice, and it will not whisper anymore. Flashback fragments flicker across the screen, a hidden meeting in the garden. A letter passed in candlelight, a promise made under a storming sky. The images come fast, layered with emotion, guilt, fear, love, and loss. The music swells, violins and minor chords, joined by a slow, pounding drum like a heartbeat losing rhythm. Cut to the upstairs hallway, the servants gathered, their faces tense. They've heard enough to know everything is about to change. A door opens at the far end, and light spills out, warm, golden. And final dot, voiceover soft, nearly breaking. Loyalty binds them, but love, it breaks them. The man descends the staircase, slow, deliberate, carrying a folded letter in his hand. The woman rises to meet him halfway, her gown flowing like the memory of the past itself. For a long moment, they stand face to face, saying nothing. Only their silence speaks, a language older than words. The camera circles them, closing in as their hands meet gently, uncertainly. Then he places the letter in hers. A pause. A deep breath. "Let the Abbey decide," he whispers. Thunder rumbles once more in the distance, faint like a heartbeat far away. The music stops. The screen fades to black. On-screen text, "The past demands to be heard." The rain has stopped. The sun breaks through the clouds, washing the Abbey in light for the first time in days. The stone glows softly, and the windows shimmer as if breathing again. The storm may have shaken its walls, but it could not take its spirit. The camera glides across the estate, the gardens shining with dew, the trees bending gently in the morning breeze. The air feels lighter, newer, as if the house itself has exhaled a long-kept secret. Inside, the halls are quiet once more. But it's a different kind of silence now, not heavy, not haunted, but peaceful. The servants move slowly, their eyes soft with thought. The butler pauses by the great staircase, straightens a painting that had fallen, and lingers there for a moment. It's as if he knows the Abbey endures because its people do. Voiceover warm, reflective. Time does not destroy. It teaches. It bends us, reshapes us, and yet somehow it lets us remain. In the library, the woman stands before the window again. The same light that once revealed secrets now bathes her in gold. The letter lies beside her, sealed once more, not hidden this time, but ready to be kept with the rest of the Abbey's history. She runs her hand across the old desk, her fingers tracing the grain of the wood, connecting to every soul that came before her. Cut to the main hall. The grand clock ticks again, its rhythm steady, alive. The sound fills the space like a heartbeat returned to the house. Dust motes dance in the sunlight, floating like tiny ghosts now at peace. Voiceover gentle, steady. The Abbey remembers every voice that ever spoke within its walls. Some are gone. Some remain. But all have shaped what it has become. A maid opens the great doors to the outside. Sunlight floods the hall. The camera follows the light as it spills across the marble floors, the portraits, staircase touching everything, blessing it with warmth. In the distance, laughter rings out, faint but real. The sound of a piano follows, soft and graceful, like an echo from another time returning home. The music swells, a full orchestral theme now, soaring, hopeful, and grand. The camera pulls back slowly, rising high above the Abbey as the golden fields stretch endlessly beyond it. The house stands proud, beautiful, eternal, a guardian of memory, love, and legacy. VoiceOverFinal.com/resonant. Years will pass. Faces will change. But Downton will always remain. The orchestra fades into silence. The final image lingers, the Abbey under the golden light of dawn. It's timeless and unbroken. On-screen text. Downton Abbey, 32025. The story continues. The screen fades to black. A single sound remains, the echo of a piano note, fading into silence.